Welcome to the next video from Animation Universal. Today, I'm going to tell you about the haunted doll Annabelle and the terrifying true stories behind it. Be sure to watch until the end of the video to uncover the origins of the bizarre and chilling events surrounding this cursed doll. Before we dive in, make sure you've subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of our fascinating and informative videos. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, like and share to support us. Now, let's jump right into the story. Cute and lovely dolls are often children's favorite toys, but not all adults are fond of them. Many people share that while dolls are designed to closely resemble humans, their lifeless expressions and vacant stares can sometimes send shivers down our spines. Moreover, because of their human-like forms, dolls are believed to be potential conduits for malevolent forces. Evil spirits that possess dolls can turn them into terrifying intermediaries, spreading horror to those around them. There is evidence of many haunted dolls worldwide, so much so that some are sealed away to prevent future disasters. Annabelle, the haunted doll at the Warren Occult Museum. Annabelle sits inside a glass case with a handwritten prayer to God inscribed on it, wearing a pleasant smile on her happy face beneath her bright red hair. At first glance, she appears to be just an ordinary Raggedy Ann doll, a character from Johnny Gruelle's stories manufactured in the mid-20th century. However, what makes her stand out is the sign below the glass case that reads, "Warning, positively do not open." For visitors new to the Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, Annabelle might look like any other Raggedy Ann doll. But from the beginning, this doll was anything but normal. Since its first alleged haunting in 1970, Annabelle has been claimed to be a vessel for demonic forces, causing numerous violent incidents and at least 2 near-death tragedies. In recent years, the stories surrounding Annabelle have inspired a series of horror films. But how much of Annabelle's story is true? Is this doll truly a vessel for a demonic entity seeking a human host to possess their body and soul? Or is it simply a child's toy turned into the subject of highly profitable ghost stories? The origin of Annabelle in real life. Although Annabelle doesn't have porcelain skin or the beauty of the doll depicted in films, the Annabelle doll housed at the Occult Museum of the famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren still exudes an eerie presence due to its otherwise ordinary appearance. Details like Annabelle's stitched features, including her half-smile and orange triangle-shaped nose, evoke memories of childhood toys. If you could ask Ed and Lorraine Warren, Ed passed away in 2006 and Lorraine in early 2019, they would tell you that the handwritten warnings scrawled on Annabelle's glass case are absolutely necessary. According to the Warrens, the doll is responsible for 2 near-fatal accidents, 1 tragic death, and a series of demonic activities spanning over 30 years. The first of Annabelle's infamous hauntings is said to have occurred in 1970, back when the doll was brand new, freshly crafted, and sitting in its box. The story was relayed to the Warrens by 2 young women and retold by the couple for years afterward. According to the account, the Annabelle doll was a gift from a mother to her 28-year-old daughter, a young nurse named Donna, or possibly Deirdre, as it has been referred to in some versions, for her birthday. Thrilled with her gift, Donna brought the doll back to her apartment, where she lived with a roommate named Angie. At first, the doll was simply a charming decorative piece, sitting on the living room sofa and greeting guests with its cheerful, colorful appearance. But it didn't take long before the 2 women began to notice that Annabelle seemed to move around the apartment on her own. Donna would leave Annabelle on the sofa before heading to work, but upon returning home in the evening, she would find the doll in her bedroom even though the door was closed. The 2 women later began to find notes scattered throughout their apartment with messages that read, "Help me." These notes were written on parchment paper, a type of paper they didn't even own. One afternoon, Angie's boyfriend, known only as Lou, was in the apartment while Donna was out. He heard rustling sounds, as if someone had broken in. After searching, he found no sign of an intruder, but he discovered the doll lying face down on the floor. Suddenly, Lou felt a sharp pain in his chest and looked down to find bloody claw-like scratches running across his torso. Strangely, when Lu was taken to the hospital, the wounds healed almost immediately and disappeared entirely within 2 days. Following Lu's frightening experience, the women decided to seek help from a medium to address the paranormal issues. The medium conducted a seance and concluded that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, whose body had been discovered years earlier on the land where the apartment building now stood. The medium explained that the child's spirit was benevolent and merely wanted to be loved and cared for. Feeling sorry for the little girl, the 2 young nurses decided to allow the spirit to stay in the doll. The paranormal investigators step in. However, the strange occurrences didn't stop there. The unsettling phenomena continued to plague the 2 women, haunting their minds. Eventually, Donna and Angie sought the help of a priest, Father Cook, to exorcise the spirit that haunted their apartment. Father Cook, in turn, reached out to renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren for assistance. According to the women, the troubles began when they started to sympathize with the doll. The Warrens believed that instead of housing a benevolent spirit, as the medium had suggested, the doll was a vessel for a malicious demonic force seeking a human host. The Warrens' report of the case states, "Spirits do not possess inanimate objects like houses or toys. They possess people. A spirit can attach itself to a location or an object, but it ultimately seeks to possess a living human soul." This is what happened in the Annabelle case. The spirit manipulated the doll and created the illusion of it being alive to garner recognition. The spirit did not intend to stay attached to the doll. Its goal was to possess a human host. Ed and Lorraine Warren identified what they believed were signs of demonic possession, including teleportation, the doll moving on its own, materialization, the parchment paper notes, and physical attacks, loose claw-like scratches. The Warrens advised Father Cook to perform an exorcism in the apartment and then took Annabelle to their occult museum, hoping to end the entity's reign of terror. Even after removing Annabelle from Donna and Angie's apartment, the Warrens documented additional paranormal events involving the doll within minutes of taking custody. Following the exorcism, they secured Annabelle in the back seat of their car and avoided driving on highways to minimize the risk of accidents. However, even back roads proved treacherous. During the drive, Lorraine recounted that the car's brakes would fail intermittently, nearly causing several catastrophic accidents. It wasn't until Ed sprinkled holy water on the doll that the brake issues ceased. 18 a.m. Upon arriving home, the Warrens placed Annabelle in Ed's study. They reported that the doll would levitate and move around the house, even after being locked in a separate room outside the main building. Eventually, they decided to seal Annabelle permanently. The Warrens built a special wooden and glass case, inscribed with the Lord's Prayer and the prayer of Saint Michael. From that point on, Ed recited a binding prayer daily to ensure the spirit within the doll could not escape. Since being confined, Annabelle has not moved again, though it is believed that the spirit within still seeks to connect with the outside world. On one occasion, a priest visiting the Warrens Museum picked up the doll and mocked its demonic power. On his way home, he was involved in a near-fatal car accident that totaled his new vehicle. The priest later claimed he saw Annabelle in his rearview mirror moments before the crash. Years later, another visitor struck Annabelle's case and laughed, mocking those who believed in the doll's powers. On his way home, he lost control of his motorcycle and crashed into a tree, dying instantly. His girlfriend, riding on the back, survived and reported that they had been joking about Annabelle right before the accident. In the years that followed, Ed and Lorraine Warren shared these stories as evidence of Annabelle's terrifying power, though none of the incidents were ever verified. The identities of the young priest and the motorcyclist were never revealed. Donna and Angie, the nurses and Annabelle's first victims, never spoke publicly about their experience again. Father Cook also remained silent about his involvement in the exorcism. Annabelle on the big screen. Whether or not any of the hauntings truly occurred, The stories of the Annabelle doll provided director-producer James Wan with the perfect inspiration to create a lucrative horror cinematic universe. Since 2014, Wan has written scripts about the violent, haunted Annabelle doll, drawing inspiration from the real-life version. Of course, there are notable differences between the doll locked away in the Warrens' home and its cinematic counterpart. While the real Annabelle is a children's toy with exaggerated features, the movie version is modeled after antique, handcrafted porcelain dolls, complete with braided hair and gleaming glass eyes. Annabelle's mischievous antics were also exaggerated to heighten the drama and appeal of the films. Instead of terrorizing two roommates, the movie version of Annabelle moves from house to house, attacking families, possessing members of a satanic cult, murdering children, disguising itself as a nun, and wreaking havoc within the Warrens' own home. Wan's scripts have led to 3 successful films featuring the creepy doll, and it seems the story of Annabelle is far from over. Inside the museum housing Annabelle. Although both Ed and Lorraine Warren have passed away, their legacy continues through their daughter Judy and her husband, Tony Spera. Real-life fears surrounding the Annabelle doll escalated in August 2020 when rumors spread that the doll had escaped from the occult museum. While the rumor quickly gained traction on social media, it was later confirmed to be false. Spera himself posted a video showing him standing beside the Annabelle doll in the museum. "Annabelle is still here," Spera assured everyone. "Well, I shouldn't say alive. Annabelle is here after all the infamous events it's caused. The doll will never be allowed to leave the museum," Spera declared. Annabelle stands as a symbol of malevolent forces inhabiting a doll. Even when sealed in museums, its dark powers are only partially contained rather than entirely eliminated. Mandy the doll is another eerie example of this phenomenon. The story of Mandy began in 1991 when a woman named Marianda donated it to the Quesnel Museum in British Columbia, Canada. She recounted being awakened one night by strange crying sounds coming from the basement. Upon investigating, she found a window wide open with an old doll sitting on the ledge, staring at her. Terrified, she delivered the doll to the museum the following morning, where it was later named Mandy. Though the doll's origin and age remain unknown, its clothing is tattered, its face cracked, and its eerie grin unnerving. While the haunting cries ceased in its former owner's house, strange events began occurring in the museum. Staff reported that objects in the room were rearranged after lunch breaks, and the sound of footsteps was often heard nearby. Initially, Mandy was displayed at the museum's entrance. However, its cracked face and mysterious smile left visitors uneasy. Eventually, it was moved to a separate room. Oddly, visitors attempting to film or photograph Mandy frequently experienced technical issues. A strange glow would obscure the image, and cameras would shut off entirely within seconds. Outside the room, however, the equipment functioned normally. Some visitors reported feeling as if they were being watched while at the museum. Others claimed they saw Mandy's eyes blink or noticed it moving to different positions before suddenly returning to its original spot. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any interesting and informative videos. Thank you all so much. For now, goodbye and see you in the next video.